You got a gun, you got a big gun, you got a gun, it's not a real one, and all you ever think about is running away, all you ever think about is trying to stay away from me.
And welcome back to another episode of the Not Safe for Work MMA show. And that is here on the LoudMouth MMA Podcast Network, where we have a bunch of other really fun shows that you should check out. Please subscribe to the network wherever you listen to a podcast. There's a lot of great content. We're the only ones that are savages. If you don't want to listen to savages, there are other shows. This one here is called the Not Safe for Work MMA show for a reason. So there's your trigger warning. Normally, and I say normally because that's what it's been. It's been normal. Fred has joined me from Skype. But ladies and gentlemen, back in the Thunderdome, you're going to hear his voice now the way it was intended to be heard. Mr. Fred Kirby.
Hey now.
Ooh,
we're officially back.
There it is.
We're officially back.
Listen to that rich timber.
I know. I can't get this in my little shitty house, Jack. The fucking pussy-ass fucking iPhone goddamn earbuds. It's chaos.
It is chaos. I'm happy to have you back. I'm ready.
It's good to officially be back.
We were having a conversation before we started recording, and I want to get that conversation on record because I think it was a good conversation.
Okay.
We were just talking about how, again, because we haven't gotten together in months, which is just crazy to think about. And we were talking about how, Dana has got an immense amount of shit for getting the UFC up and going again.
Right.
And still kind of is. It's just not nearly as bad because the rest of the world's opening up too. But, has gotten a lot of shit. And there's a couple things. One, and I want you to talk about this because you were the one that brought up the point. I just thought it was a really good point. When they first brought back UFC 249, I think that was the first card back, right? Or was it 48?
Fuck.
I don't remember if it was 48
I think it was 49. I think it was
49 too.
Yeah.
But when they first brought UFC back, again, a lot of contention, and then you have a fighter test positive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, Jesus Christ, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And but it did work. And it came around, and this is what you're talking about. It came around at a time when, you had people that were just about on death's doorstep here of dude, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done with being trapped. I'm done with feeling like the just doom and gloom and the weight of the world. And I mean, I would say my mental health during that time period is the worst it's been since I was a fucking teenager.
Oh, well, I can imagine.
I mean, I'm 31. Like, I don't feel like I don't have depression. It's one of the things I don't have to worry about. Like, I don't have depression. But because I have anxiety, and I've had anxiety my whole life, like, generalized anxiety, you can fall into a depression if you're constantly anxious and you're like, when the fuck is this going to stop? You kind of fall into a bit of depression. Sure. But I'm also extremely extroverted, and I need to be around people, and not just like one or two people. I need to have a fucking party. Like
social.
Yeah, I need to like recharge with that. Like my wife is very introverted and truly introverted. A lot of people think they're introverted and they're really not.
Sure.
But she's truly introverted.
Right.
She gets absolutely no healing or power from being around people.
She's cool, just fucking riding out the storm, watching Netflix, chilling.
And it's obviously this has an effect on her too, because it's just because you're introvert doesn't mean
you want to be fucking isolated from society.
I mean, you still want to be around people, but it's like, when she's around someone, she needs to come home and she needs to fucking lock herself in a room and just vegetate.
That's how she recharges her battery.
Yeah, for me, I recharge my batteries by being around people all day and then coming home and being around more people.
Sure.
Like that's my recharge. But this is a really, really tough time for people, and it feels like you're here now. The UFC has now had several shows. Other sports are talking about making plans to move forward. Where I think at this point it's an all but foregone conclusion the NFL is going to be back. The NBA is making their plans to come back. Hockey's making their plan to come back. Sports are what bind us, a lot of us together, and it seems like we're pretty much out of the weeds here, barring a major influx here, which very well could happen.
Sure.
Given the riots and that kind of shit. And like we kind of talked about on the phone, if that shit don't happen, then fuck everybody who was in a position of power who made this shit something it wasn't. Because there is absolutely no fucking excuse at this point. If you don't have, if we don't have a major influx of corona cases, given what's happening right now in the world and all the riots and the closeness and
all the
protests
protests and whatnot,
then fuck everybody.
Yeah, somebody exaggerated, Jack, a little bit for sure.
And then it just kind of kept rolling downhill.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, to your point, man, like I was saying before we went live, when Dana brought back the UFC for 249, at that, like, now I'm here. The UFC's been up and running for a while. Our city, Dayton, Ohio, the whole fucking city's been open. Bars are open. Restaurants are open. They might be at like half mast, but they're still open.
Yeah.
So now, in this moment, it's easy to be like, hey, it's all kind of good. It seems like we're getting out of the weeds a little bit here. But if you go back, 6-7 weeks ago or whatever the fuck, we were all still in a real fuck spot. And people didn't know exactly what was going on. People were fucking terrified. Like you said, man, people were fucking depressed. I mean, we didn't know what, like, I've never fucking lived through anything like that, man, where you truly didn't know. And nobody fucking knew how this thing was going to play out. Nobody on the planet, not Putin, not Trump, no powerful people. Nobody knew how this thing was going to shake out, man.
Even if you thought you knew, you weren't quite sure. And I know, with being a realtor, getting a lot of questions about, like, what does this mean for the housing market?
Sure.
And it's like, listen, if we were experiencing a recession, I'd have an answer for you.
Right.
Because I know exactly kind of what it would look like. I know where we're going to go.
Valleys and peaks.
For mine, I have a team of agents as well who kind of depend on me knowing answers.
Sure.
Being able to critically think and me just telling them, listen, I have no idea.
Right.
I don't know where this is going. I don't know where the end game is. I don't know what effect it's going to have. Because, again, if it's a recession, got it. I can give us 5 steps right now of how to pivot and how to keep moving forward. Yeah. This isn't a fucking recession. In fact, home prices have gone up during this thing, so I don't fucking know. I don't know what to tell you.
Right, and that sort of mass uncertainty for all of us is fucking very disheartening.
It's awful.
So it seems, a bit trivial or stupid, but when the UFC came back, man, I was sitting on my little fucking stupid couch.
It feels like they kicked off the rest of the world.
It just felt good. It finally, for once, I again, like I was saying before we went live, I can imagine that a lot of people really got a lot out of that, man. A lot of people probably really fucking pulled them out of their funk. And you got to give fucking credit where it's due, man. Dana White, what started the whole thing before we went live, I said, I'm really proud to be an MMA fan right now. Because Dana White and the UFC led the charge. They did it responsibly. They did it smart. Jacare's been the only guy, supposedly so far, who has tested positive. They've done all the right things. It's easy to be like, oh, yeah, it's because Endeavor's fucked up and they need money. I'd like for people to just shut the fuck up. You know what? Maybe you're right, Luke Thomas. Maybe you are. But I'm going to take the cynical view that these cocksuckers got more money than God, and they're probably all right. I would imagine that fucking Ari Emanuel will be okay. Might he be losing money now? Sure. But is the world eventually going to open up? And does he still own fucking Disney? And is Puma and goddammit Timon's going to still be able to sell fucking Lion King? These fucking guys are going to have money. Yeah. They're going to make money. I don't think they needed to get this thing open for money. Now, they've got to provide fighters with fights and shit. But I think you'd be a cunt to think that they were doing this solely for the money and that Dana White and those guys don't actually care about these fighters, the sport, and quite frankly, us.
And just getting normalcy back into the world in an imperfect time.
Exactly.
There is no perfect way to do it. It doesn't exist.
Sure.
Perfection is relative. I believe in the idea of perfection, but it's in a relative term. It's not in, the dictionary definition of perfection, right? I view perfection as being you, right? You are who you are, and that is perfect.
Sure.
Right? But there is no perfect system. There is no perfect way of going about things. And as far as it goes, and watching the event last night, it was a reminder of the UFC has been faced with a weird fucking time to be doing shit. Right. They've had to completely 180 the way they do the 3-man booth, the 2-man booth, whatever. They've had to 180 how they do the interviews. They've had to make so many changes on the fly. And they've done a very, very good job. In fact, I kind of like it more. I kind of like the way it's set up now more.
Well, and Dana White alludes to this all the time. Listen, it's probably costing them money to run these shows. They get no gate. I mean, Dana White was talking about this in some of the fucking interviews leading up to this event. He's like, listen, the reason that the NBA and the NFL don't want to do shit is because they need that fucking gate. And so do we. Yeah. Every fucking event we run and we don't have nobody in the audience, that's like a mill or two that we just lose. But if we're willing to run the event, guess what? Goddamn camera guy still got to get paid. Joe Rogan still got to get his paycheck. Bruce Buffer's there fucking doing 360s and carrying on the way he does. Like, DW's still putting out a lot of fucking money for this thing to happen for us.
I'm glad we said that. I'm glad you said that.
Bruce is an animal.
Can we just...
He's a fucking...
Can we give the biggest fucking golf clap in the world for fucking Bruce Buffer?
We don't deserve him.
We don't.
We don't deserve him.
He might be more excited now than when there's a crowd full of fucking people. He is...
I'm fucking telling you, when that motherfucker came on for 249 and he said it's fucking time, I fucking haven't felt that good. I'm not bullshitting you. I haven't felt that good. I just hearing and Bruce Wotton, all bullshit aside, all joking aside, his authenticity with that does give you a bit of a feel good. Like he went, hey, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm scared to death. Bruce fucking came out and fucking spun around like a tornado and said, "It's time, cocksuckers, wake up, we're home."
And he was, and mind you, it was even harder then because now for 250 they're in the Apex.
Sure,
much smaller room. It's not as weird. When he did that at 249, it was an empty Coliseum.
Yep,
you know what I mean? Like he is in a large venue. Just, he probably can hear the echoes off the fucking ceiling coming back to him, and he is all in. He is 100% all in.
Listen, dressed in a $5,000 suit, fucking going crazy for the guy on the prelims. You don't fucking know who the fuck. From Ecuador, fucking just spazzing his shit, man. I tweeted that a while ago. I'm like, we do not deserve Bruce Buffer, boy. He has been on his, and to be fair, everybody has.
Yeah.
Everybody has done such a great job. Joe Rogan, fucking DC, Dominic Cruz, Anik, fucking everybody that's been doing this. You got to give a big shout out to all of them, man.
I know.
They've done a really good job of not making this like you said. I think a lot of us are out there like, keep the fucking crowd fucked up like this. I'm not hating this at all.
I'm good with how it's set up. I don't have to listen to woos.
Right. It's not the worst thing at all.
Woo! Woo! The whole fucking time. I don't have to listen to that. Listen, I'll take it, man. Fuck the fans. Leave them out of there. We don't need a gate.
Fucking Eddie Alvarez's wife in the background carrying on the way she does. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So they've done a great job, dude. Yeah. Fucking shout out to the UFC and the MMA community.
I know we're sucking a little bit of dick.
But hey, this is kind of like our first show officially back since all this shit's happened, man. And it is nice to look in hindsight and be like, oh, that happened. Like we didn't know. Look, when they first decided they were going to do 249. We didn't know how this fucking thing was going to play out, man. A bunch of people could have got it. They could have called it there. But, hey, you got to give fucking credit where it's due, man. They did it right. They did the events. They didn't spread it. Hell, somebody even had it. And they did such a good job of getting him wrapped up and the fuck out of there that nobody else on the card called it.
That's the thing is, and what people don't, when people are getting upset about the way, or the fact that UFC is having these events, that right there was your proof.
Sure.
Now, right there was a chink in the armor. Like, hey, this is maybe why you shouldn't do it.
Because somebody had it.
And I understand that. But they also showed you with that chink, hey, guess what? It didn't affect anything else.
Sure.
Because we had put the precautions in place. The precautions worked. The way the system was designed, it worked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I had a buddy, Phil, come over last night for the fights, and he wore a mask the whole time. Out there the whole time, I wore a mask.
And if that's what makes people happy, then fine, I guess. Like
because at the end of the day, if I have it or if somebody there had it, he at least gets to go, hey, I took the precautions.
Right.
Now maybe I'll still end up getting it, but if I don't, it's because I took the precautions. That the precautions work. That's why we have them set up.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it will help alleviate there being a bigger issue. So
what a time to be alive where
crazy.
You could just wear a mask like a goddamn vigilante and nobody you know what's crazy?
I wonder into jewelry stores wearing a mask.
Yeah,
like, right.
I wonder how long that's going to be acceptable for you to just tie a bandana around your mug and be like, no, I'm worried about the COVID. Imagine fast forward to 2023 and you still got a couple bandits out there running around with fucking their masks on like, no, Jack, it's my 36th Amendment right. I don't got to worry about the COVID. They say that I'm allowed to wear this into the jewelry store.
Yeah. Did you catch, speaking of being a consummate professional, did you catch Rogan's interview with Cody Stamann?
I didn't. I heard about it, but I was in and out.
It was, and he was talking to him, and I knew the story. Cody Stamann's brother
Sure.
Passed away I don't remember how long ago, but it wasn't all that long
Shortly,
ago. It was,
yeah.
And he was 18.
A week
from,
or two
from
or
what
something.
I gathered, he passed away in his sleep at 18, which obviously some type of congenital issue there. He was born with something.
Heart
is
failure
my
or something.
guess.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was drugs. I don't know, but
Sure.
My
Don't want to get too speculative.
yeah, my guess is it was, he had some type of birth defect. Or
That seems like what they were
it's
alluding
usually
towards.
what happens when you die in your sleep at that age.
Right.
It's either drugs or you had something that you didn't know about. But, and it was sad. And right as Cody Stamann finished the fight and completely broke down. I mean, it was the moment the fight was done. And you have to imagine that was such a... He had gone through this entire camp and then went through the lead up to the fight, not being able to experience his emotions.
Right.
He's focused on what he's doing. He wants to get the win. He wants to get in there. And he's just suppressing. And the moment that final bell rang, he just collapsed. And it was a really, really impactful moment of like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how he's feeling right now. Just that relief of like, now I get to experience this.
Yeah, it's finally all over.
Now I get to go through what I need to go through to get past this. So he goes on, he's talking to Rogan, and he's maintaining his composure pretty well. I mean, obviously he was struggling, but he's maintaining his composure pretty well. And then, right at the end, Rogan is just saying, like deepest sympathies from all of us and whatever. And dude starts welling up, and he gets through it. You can hear it in his voice. You can hear his voice starting to break, and you can kind of see his eyes starting to water.
Well up, yeah.
He got to the end of it, and they cut it and moved on to DC, and that was it. And it's like, this sport's fucking amazing.
Oh yeah,
This sport is amazing. Sports are amazing.
Sure.
I really love just being a sport fan because I'm not just a fan of MMA. Obviously, I mean, sports are just incredible.
Sure.
And the way that they push people and it's just, I love it. I love it. And I loved that moment. I obviously don't love the reasoning behind the moment.
Well, sure.
But it's such a beautiful moment to be able to experience, and then for Joe Rogan to be, because obviously it's weird if he just starts blubbering on TV.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's to maintain professionalism and to move forward. It was just an incredible moment. I fucking love this shit. Yeah. I fucking love this shit.
Small segue right there,
Yeah, go
too. Just kind of touching on that. I don't know what was going on, and it seems like it's died down now, but before this whole COVID thing, there was a real fucking popular trend going around of shitting on Joe Rogan. I just like to fucking come back on and say fuck off with that. Like, he's the fucking GOAT, man. Like, think what you want, but that dude there's a reason he just got a fucking $100 million to be on Spotify, and I realize that's his podcast, so on and so forth, but it's also just him. His personality and the way he's able to fucking operate and do things. He's a fucking animal, man.
So how much did he get again?
I mean, the rumor is $100 million.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard too. So that when LoudMouth MMA sells, we got to do 101.
Salute. Listen,
we got to do 101. Right?
Again, not to get too sidetracked on other news here, but Joe Rogan signing that deal changed shit for all of us on the podcast world. Like
listening
that
to Pat
shows
McAfee.
you.
Listen to Pat McAfee after that. He's just like, dude, this is it.
Yeah.
Rogan just cleared the path for someone like me.
He just fucking kicked in the door,
to
dude.
sell to YouTube, and to have this be our exclusive provider. They got money. He's like, come hit me up because I
Right.
can go anywhere I want.
Right.
But this is my primary mode of communication is through YouTube, and I'd like to stay here.
Right.
So let's talk. He did it publicly on his podcast. Like, hey. This
Yeah,
is it. I mean, now we're talking about real numbers here.
Right. I think that's just the thing. It awares the outside world that might not have understood what podcasting was or how big of a deal it was. That like the Howard Sterns, the old relics who still like live in the radio medium. Like you guys really have to take podcasting seriously.
And Howard has been posting almost all of his content on Facebook in little short clips.
Exactly. He
that's-
gets it.
This is where we're going. And I was there's a comedian. His name is Chris Stefano, and I was listening to him. He's fucking
I'm
hilarious.
hit.
Yeah, but if you haven't, I was like, if you hadn't heard him, he's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I know Chris Stefano.
But he was talking about how he had bombed on Jimmy Kimmel, and they didn't even air it. It was such a bad bomb.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, because he gets like a minute into he gets like 2 minutes into the set, and nobody's laughing. And at some point, he goes like, "Fuck you guys!" Like in the middle of the set.
So Jimmy Kimmel's a pussy, anyways.
That he's recording for Jimmy Kimmel, and he laughed about it. He tweeted right afterward, like, "I just bombed." Jimmy Kimmel says they're not going to air it. Air it, and take out the part where I cuss. Like I want this out there, and they didn't. They never did. They never ended up airing it. But he was talking about how he's like, dude, I don't even want to do those late shows anyway.
Right.
He's like, and I'm not even trying to be whatever. He's like, but listen, and he's on. I think he was talking to Bert Kreischer in the interview. He's like, this interview will get 1 million plus more hits than that's going to get.
Oh, for sure.
Flat out. It's like flat out.
Different world.
He goes, and then when I go on Rogan or I go on Fighter and the Kid or whatever else, he's like, between all those mediums, I'm getting tens of millions of views and getting all those fans. I'm not getting that shit from doing the Late Show for 5 minutes.
I am not the most technologically fucking advanced gentleman. I am 35. I'll be 36 in a few months this year. So I'm also no spring fucking chicken. I haven't watched the news on TV or a late night show or anything like that in years. Like,
and if you have, you've seen clips.
Yeah, sure.
That's the thing.
Like, I'm not watching the fucking the Conan O'Brien fucking show or even Trevor Noah, who I enjoy.
Which
I'm
are all
not watching his fucking show.
Which are all
anymore.
good for what they are.
Sure.
But you're not watching them. You're seeing clips from shows, and those clips are on Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is.
And I guess I just throw out my age to say that if at 35 I'm operating like this, imagine what the 20-year-olds amongst us are doing. You think there's any fucking 20-year-old, 25-year-old that wakes up and fucking turns on Channel 7 or your local that shit's a wrap, dog. Like everybody is online listening to fucking podcasts of some kind.
That's where it's at.
Yeah. Hence, you listen to us now, cocksuckers.
Exactly. It's where the content is.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the.
What was this? Just the fight night? This wasn't a.
This
this
was
was 250.
250.
Oh God. Okay. You know what? Okay. Give a shout out to the cards that suck on paper and end up being really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like this has happened several times the last fucking few weeks, man. This card for all of me on paper was fucking trash, and I'm not afraid to say it. I looked going into this card, I was like, Jesus Christ. Even some of the fighters that I was actually interested in, I felt like the matchups were weird. Sean O'Malley, very interested. He's fighting who? Eddie fucking Wineland. Eddie Wineland's 145 years old. That didn't make much sense.
Oh, it's funny you say it didn't make sense because I feel like I have been the fucking leader of this crazy band of why are people acting like this fight is meaningful?
Yeah,
even on the fucking pay-per-view, they were talking about, which they got to do that. I understand. But I did Last One Standing, and because I host that show or whatever.
Sure.
Check the show out. Shameless plug. Yeah. It'll be back tomorrow. But I don't know. I just couldn't. Everybody was talking about how, pretending like I was just discounting Eddie Wineland. I'm like, I'm not discounting him at all. This fight makes no sense. Why shut him out? It's a big step up. No, in what way? How is it? It's a big step up.
It might be a slight step up, but he's.
Is it?
I mean, look, who did he fight last? I mean, fucking the Mexican gentleman whose name eludes me. I mean,
who's on the same level?
Well, yeah, I know.
Eddie Wineland's just been around for a while.
Well,
he was not any fucking better.
He was championship caliber guy at one point. He was fighting for the belt and stuff. But listen, your point's not lost on me. That was a long fucking time ago, and I don't even remember the last time I watched Eddie Wineland fight before fucking last night. So I mean, look, your point's not fucking lost. I mean, I was definitely a little bit like, what the fuck? Now, on that notion, I don't want to jump too much ahead of myself here, but did you see all the fucking crazy shit that Twitter was talking after this fight? Or rather, after the Cody Garbrandt fight?
No.
Everybody on Twitter was saying that's the fight to make. Sean O'Malley, Cody Garbrandt. And now, like you, I felt like I was on an island because I'm looking at my phone going, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I mean, maybe in another 3 fights for fucking Sean O'Malley, but
the problem with that fight is
Cody Garbrandt, are you guys fucking high? He just stuffed out fucking Rafael, whatever the fuck.
Think about what. Think back to how Garbrandt looked against Dominic Cruz.
Yeah,
a guy, a proficient striker like that.
Sure.
Sean O'Malley does not present anything that Cruz does not, and at the end of the day, I think Garbrandt, if they fought tomorrow, I think would expose O'Malley in that O'Malley's not going to be able to land those shots. Now. The problem is, if he does land one of those shots, Garbrandt's going down like a fucking tree.
I feel like, I don't know if I'm just out of my mind here, but I feel like they're not even close. I mean, I like Sean O'Malley, but Cody Garbrandt, we're talking about title shot, right? Like fucking him knocking out fucking Assunção the way he did. Bro, Aljamain Sterling is probably the right fight for Cody Garbrandt. Am I out of my mind here? What the fuck are we talking about Sean O'Malley? I get it that he looked cute, but he beat Eddie Wineland.
I will disagree with you in that Garbrandt needs at least one more win here. The problem is the win can't be O'Malley. It's got to be somebody else.
Well, right, Aljamain Sterling or something.
No, the title fight needs to be clear to me. That it's as clear as fucking day. Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan. I mean, that's the title fight flat out.
Well,
that's what needs to happen.
But that's supposedly not happening.
Which is how?
I mean, we're doing Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. I agree with you. I agree with you. But DW was on record this weekend saying that that's what they're doing.
There is absolutely no.
You know what though? I agree with you. I tell you what, for my money. Sorry to cut you off, but
if you really want to get Jose Aldo in that position, then put him up against Garbrandt.
Yeah,
that's fine,
and that's a fun fucking fight because Cody will get in there and swing with him.
If you're really trying to force that fucking narrative that Jose Aldo belongs at the top here or whatever,
give him Cody.
Whatever, give him Cody. There you go.
I love that.
Get the win over Cody. Then okay, now we can justify it.
Yeah,
and then if Cody loses or something, then you fight Sean O'Malley. Like, okay, cool, I got it.
And stylistically, it's fun actually.
Yeah.
Jose Aldo versus Peter Yan. Look, we know what's going to fucking happen with that one, right? I mean, I guess you never know, but like, does anybody think that Peter Yan doesn't eventually wear fucking Jose down and throw him a beating?
Like, the thing is even if that isn't what happens, even if Aldo goes out there and wins, it's still meaningless. It's still meaningless. Like, Aldo has not earned this position whatsoever.
Right. With a loss to Marlon.
It makes no sense that he's being even discussed right now. There is no argument that somebody can make rationally without referencing a decade-long streak that's been over for 4 years.
Let me ask you this then. What fight sells more pay-per-views?
I don't give a shit.
Well, no, but I think it's debatable.
I think
you could make a point or an argument rather that the Aljo Peter Yan would sell just as much, if not. I don't think Jose Aldo's name sells pay-per-views anymore. Is my goddamn prime point.
I think if anything, they're pretty
close,
equal.
comparable, right?
They're pretty equal.
Like you don't bring Jose Aldo in and get a fucking 300,000 pay-per-view buy spike
and. If that is the direction you want to go, if you do think that, Aldo's going to sell more cards, great. Put him and Garbrandt in the same card.
Well, I mean, what else would it be?
There you go.
It has to be that, right?
Yeah, I mean put him on the same card. If that's your justification for putting, because that's the only argument the UFC could make.
Well, sure, right.
Is this underground argument?
He doesn't fucking deserve it, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, the only argument they could make is, this fight's going to sell more.
Right.
Okay. Is the fight going to sell more, or are you saying that the Aldo bump is going to sell more? If it's the Aldo bump, which again. There's no smoke there between. There isn't like a story between him and Yan.
Right.
So it's like, okay,
it's not that sexy
that's
of a fight.
Fine. Main event have, or co-main or whatever it is you want to do. Have the title fight between Yan and Sterling.
Sure.
And then somewhere on the main card as well, throw fucking Aldo and Garbrandt on it.
If fucking disgusting little Cejudo decides to keep his word and fuck off back to wherever he's from, that would make perfect sense to just kind of. Set the narrative for the fucking 135-pound division moving forward. Do Cody versus Jose co-main event, and then for the main event, do fucking Pitor and Aljo. Then obviously
on this card they put a bunch of 135ers on there for a reason.
And then the winners fight, and obviously again Corey Sandhagen. What are you gonna do? Fucking. Aljo fucking subs you out in the first round. Ain't the worst loss in the world. I mean, it ain't like he took a beating or nothing.
That's how you want to go.
Sure, I'm interested in his next fight. So
sure.
Yeah, 135 will be interesting, and that would be a fun card to really get 135 back on track.
But yeah, I'm just struggling to justify. I'm not struggling. There is no justification. There is no struggle. There just literally doesn't exist a justification for Aldo getting that fight.
Yeah, no shit.
So what we were just talking about was our co-main, Cody Garbrandt. I guess we should talk about how he won because it was fucking spectacular.
Beautiful.
I mean, that is about as awesome of an ending to a fight as you're going to fucking see. And it comes on the heels of, or not on the heels of, but after fucking Sean O'Malley's walk-off.
Yeah.
And you're like, boy, that's going to be knockout of the night, flat out, no questions asked. Nothing's ever going to top that. Garbrandt's like,
bigger shit tops it.
Yeah, fucking hold my chin beard, and here it goes.
Yeah. I think that was a better one, too, for two reasons. Or you know what? Fuck it. One reason. Quality of opposition. I think a knockout over a Sansao just matters. And the ability to do that to somebody like him counts for a lot more than dude landing the shot. And don't get me wrong. I've been watching the sport for a long time. I realized that Eddie Wineland's a veteran. And he's a very tough guy that usually does not get that done to him. Again, all joking aside, he's long in the tooth. He hasn't competed for a long time. You can't look at Eddie Wineland's career and be like, oh, well, he fought Jose Aldo back in 1992 and took a bunch of leg kicks. I don't give a shit what he did 5-10 years ago. Now he's fucking old and chinny. What are you going to do?
You got to go back to 2014 against Johnny Eduardo,
Sure.
the last time that Wineland was taken out with punches.
Right, which is, a long fucking time ago. But again, he's a fucking veteran. If a veteran gets knocked out after fucking 20 years in the sport, you can't be like, well, they're just not used to getting. I mean, he's fucking getting old, man. He's long in the tooth. Like, it's just not the same thing as a knockout over a fresh guy who's, you guys are battling for a fucking title shot, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Super impressed with Sean O'Malley. I understand. Again, I didn't think the fight made any sense, and I don't know, maybe I'm just on an island there. I guess we're on an island there.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But I was just not impressed with the fight, so when he won the way he did, I will say, though, and I've said this before, and I'll stick to it. I'm not going to, just completely be hypocritical. If you're going to have a fight that I'm going, I don't see why this fight should be happening, and guess what? To anybody trying to call me out, the fucking odds makers agreed with me. It was the heaviest favorite on the card was Sean O'Malley.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like that's not like we can't be on too much of a fucking island.
Yeah, Eddie Wineland hadn't competed.
That's how you have to win. If you're gonna fight someone like that, where I'm gonna be like, I don't get it. You're gonna be the heaviest favorite on the card.
Him.
You got to fucking smash, and you don't necessarily even have to go that far, but going that far helps.
Sure.
Because it's like, oh shit,
do something impressive.
As Chase Hooper experienced. There's levels to this shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Alex Caceres isn't beating anyone's door down, but there's levels to this, man.
I knew that, though. Going into that fight, I tweeted it, too. I'm like,
Sure.
yo, fucking Mini Askren is about to get a beat in here.
But it's good, and it's, at the end of the day, Hooper is extremely young. He's going to learn from. He's going to hopefully get better. What he needs to do is start cornrolling that afro, get a fucking tattoo underneath his eye, and he'll really step up his game.
Let me say also on that note, I think that was a horrible fight for him. I think his manager should be fucking fired. I think that kid had a ton of hype and still does have some hype and still does have a ton of what's the word I'm looking for? Fucking potential.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of, they might have fucked him a little bit here. That he shouldn't have been nowhere near whoever the fuck holds mitts for that kid, and his manager knows all these things. Somebody should have known that was a bad fight for him. Listen, here's the fucking reality check, okay? They were worlds apart in the striking. I mean, not even close. Like, Alex Caceres was literally... If Alex Caceres had a little bit more discipline to his game, he would have finished Chase Hooper in the first or second round.
Or just power.
Or
he needs
sure.
power.
But he gets a little too loosey-goosey. He's Bruce fucking Lee in there. He starts really flowing like water, and sometimes the water gets down the fucking drain, and he's fucking down there trying to grapple with him and shit. Like, if he stuck to a game plan, he's a way better fighter than him.
Yeah.
So, going into the fight, even if you're fucking Chase Hooper's manager, it's like, okay, our guy's really good at grappling. Newsflash, you fucking idiots. Not like I'm fucking some MMA fucking brain surgeon here, but Alex Caceres is really good on the ground, too.
Yeah.
Again, they pointed out on the broadcast, he went fucking, well, no, I think he did end up getting submitted by Hodger Gracie, or whatever fucking Gracie it was. Like, one of the fucking greatest grapplers. Kron, there we go, yes. Yeah, Hodger's the fucking heavyweight. But look, it doesn't fucking matter. He fucking went at least a round or two grappling the whole time with Kron Gracie, a fucking, again, and they said it on the broadcast, Chase Hooper's no fucking Kron Gracie. Kron Gracie eventually did end up submitting, dude.
He got choked out in 2 minutes.
But they fucking rolled a bit. What the fuck? Like, it's not... Chase Hooper was never going to go dominate Alex Caceres even on the ground. He might have very well submitted him, but like, you've seen what happened when they tied up. Like, Alex Caceres is competent on the ground. Like, he's a competent grappler. I don't know. I think Chase Hooper has a lot of potential, and he had a lot of hype. They fucked the hype a little bit. They should have took a different fight right now. I mean, the kid already looks like he's fucking 14. I mean, just a really bad fight to take for him. And that was clearly evident about 1 minute into the fight where you're like, oh, fuck.
Here's the problem with Chase Hooper, and I don't know if people are talking about this yet, but here's the issue. He's one-dimensional, right? We've all talking about that. Okay, he's one-dimensional.
Sure.
But guess who's also one-dimensional? Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
Guess who's also one-dimensional? Kron Gracie.
Yeah, there you go.
Guess who's also one-dimensional? Well, I don't know, he's less one-dimensional. But guess who's also one-dimensional? Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, specialists.
And by the way, all three of those people's, and we'll just talk about Ryan Hall and Bryce Mitchell, because I don't even know what Kron Gracie even is these days. But let's just talk about those two. Their one dimension is pretty much the same as Chase Hooper's.
Yep.
And both of those people would absolutely obliterate Chase Hooper.
And
he wouldn't stand a fucking chance.
If I'm not mistaken, they're all in the same division, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So this isn't like an unfair comparison.
Yeah, they're all in the same division together. So it's like the issue with Chase Hooper, and this is why that fight really sucks, is you're like, oh, okay, this guy's even more one-dimensional than we thought. Oh, fuck. His one dimension is behind other people's one dimension who are in the same fucking division as him.
Well, I guess that's why I would put the blame on his manager and say, listen, we've got a talented kid, but look, to be fair, Kron Gracie, I don't know off the top of my head.
Where's he even at these days? Is he?
I don't know off the top of my head, but one would assume he's a lot older than Chase Hooper, right? Like, Chase Hooper's a young fucking kid.
Certainly Kron.
So, you know, look, yes.
Kron's 31.
Okay.
So he's 11 years older.
There we go, right? 11 years. Imagine how good you can get at grappling or fucking boxing if you practice for 11 fucking years. To be fair, look, he shouldn't have been in that fight. Sometimes you just got to fucking, that's what your manager's there for. Fighters are going to be warriors. Your manager, especially if you're a young guy and you got all this potential, we don't want to send, you know what I mean? Like, there are guys that will eventually one day maybe fight for the title. But if you put them in there too soon with a fucking killer that's going to just savagely beat them, and I'm not saying that's necessarily what happened to Chase Hooper, it's just not a good idea. I think MMA is has a bit of a problem with that. Like, we fucking eat our own really young. You know, it needs to be okay in MMA to work your way up the fucking ladder a little bit here. Like, maybe they thought he was that good. Maybe they looked at him and trained. They're like, fuck it, he's gonna fucking work Alex Caceres. But in hindsight, looking at that fight, it's like, yo, why did y'all even let him take that fucking fight? He seemed outmatched everywhere.
Yeah, and I want to be careful because I wasn't saying that beforehand. So I don't want to come across as the hindsight guy. The Eddie Wineland one, I was saying that, and it's documented, so whatever. But I wasn't saying that about – I was excited for the fight. I was interested in how it was going to go. I wasn't sure how much of a specialist Hooper really was.
Sure.
I knew he was young. I knew he could learn from this no matter what. The problem was the fight went about as bad as it could go, so I'm not even sure how we could even learn from it because what is there to learn? You need to strike better? Well, fuck, we already knew that guy, and you're not going to fix that shit in a day.
Right.
Like,
or even a month or two in between your next fight.
You're not going to fix it in the next year.
Right.
It's like
the deficiencies that you exposed yourself of in this fight, it's going to take a while. Your hands were...
Now, again, maybe if he's in there with someone who isn't quite as proficient of a striker as Caceres...
Like a Ryan Hall that's not quite as good at grappling.
No, not even him. But, like, I'm just trying to think of a name. But, like, just somebody who is a little bit more run-of-the-mill.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not...
Alex Caceres is a high-level striker.
He's a high-level striker.
He's not very good.
He's not necessarily a high-level MMA guy.
Sure.
But he's a high-level striker.
Sure.
Maybe if he's in there with a mid-level striker who's also a mid-level grappler, right? And you then throw Chase Hooper in there.
Yeah, just a more fucking competitive fight. Like, I tweeted this after 30 seconds of the fight. Way too much, way too soon. It's as simple as that. Like, it's a bit of a bummer if you're a Chase Hooper fan, but in hindsight, that sometimes you watch fights and it's just like, okay, well, that guy's better. Very rarely do I watch a fight and I'm like, whoa.
And I just hate that there wasn't much. I mean, that my thing now, and again, this is all hindsight. I wasn't predicting this beforehand.
Sure.
But my concern now is just, what did we learn? Like, we didn't learn anything. All we learned was, shit, Chase Hooper isn't very good. Like, that's all we learned. And I don't even know if that's true. So it's like...
I don't think that's fair.
But that's the issue is there's nothing to glean from this.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I agree.
Well, tell me, what do I glean?
Chase is not a top 10 guy yet. He's not ready for that caliber.
Caceres isn't a top 10 guy now.
Well, that's my fucking point. Like, I guess what we learned from that fight was that Chase Hooper's not ready for that jump up in competition yet. The next time we see Chase Hooper fighting, he needs to be fighting a guy fresh off the Contender Series. He needs to be fighting a guy who's, it's either his first fight in the UFC or how many fucking fights has Alex Caceres had in the UFC, for Christ's sakes? Like fucking 19?
It was funny. I think it was 21 or something.
He said it was more years than he's been alive.
Yeah, and he's 20, so it must be 21.
Fucking, I rest my case. What the fuck? He's got more UFC fights than dude's been sucking air. That's fucked.
Or maybe just MMA fights. I don't know.
Either way, what the fuck? Like, that's fucked, man. You know that. he needs to be fighting a guy with his level of experience. Like that was, I don't know. Again, his manager needs to be fucking fired, bro.
Actually, I think it was UFC because he was on the Ultimate Fighter season when he lost to Michael Johnson, but so then his first technically his first UFC fight, he was 5-2 at the time.
Yeah. No, that's what I thought. I thought it was 20 in the UFC because he fights a lot, and he's
now,
been in the UFC for like 6 or 7 years.
So he was 5-2 at the time, and now he's 16-12.
Yeah.
So I
Those
guess
are UFC
fights. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to do the math. I'm not a fucking mathematician.
In hindsight, and again, hindsight's 20/20. But looking back, who the fuck is your manager, bro? Why the fuck did he let you take a fight with Alex Caceres? What the fuck? Goddamn, why don't you just let him fight fucking goddamn Jose Aldo next or the fucking like what the fuck?
All right, so that was on our prelim. I'll just reference all fights moving up. If you want to talk about them, talk about them. If not,
give a quick thought.
Don't. Herbert Burns, Evan Dunham. I thought it was a very impressive fight for Herbert Burns.
Felt bad for Evan Dunham being out for so long, coming back, and then just getting fucking snuffed out in the first round. That was a bummer. Yeah,
and he looked like he was just scared, man, because he got tapped.
It's been a long time.
He tapped out before he was even choked.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Oh shit, I'm done. Devin Clark getting a big win, in my opinion, over Alonzo Manifield.
It's a good fight.
Derailed some hype there.
Yeah.
Kudos on Devin Clark.
Alonzo looked pretty good in the fight too. To be fair, he had his moments.
Devin Clark he has a lot of grit. The guy's got amazing cardio.
If I had a fucking dad that was fucking supportive of my career and I was in this fucking sport, after seeing Devin Clark's dad carrying on the way he was in the crowd and screaming at these fucking shows, I'd have my old man with me at every fucking... I feel like that really helped him, having his pops there fucking screaming in the background. Who wants to lose in front of their old man?
All right.
It's almost like you can't.
Alex Perez, I want to talk about this. Juscio Formiga. I know you're such a big fan of Juscio Formiga.
Fucking love this. Oh, thank you, God.
You're such a big fan of his, so I figured
awesome.
You would like this.
Calf kickers.
This was a big win for Alex Perez. I mean, this is not the most stacked and deep of divisions in the world, and getting a win over a guy like Formiga automatically puts you in the conversation to start positioning yourself for a title. And I want to talk about calf kicks. We've talked about them a couple times on here. We've talked about it on other shows. But this is becoming more and more common now, where dudes are getting stopped with leg kicks. Wasn't there something on last card or the card before that or something?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, this is becoming much, much more common. And Tony Martin, I remember doing an interview with him, and I've heard him on other interviews talking about this. But he's completely gotten away from pretty much any other kick.
Yeah.
He's just calf kicking at this point.
Well, I think they're very hard to check. So I think that's another reason why fucking guys really fucking go for them, is because if you aim so low, it's hard to get your fucking self hurt checking the fucking kick.
And you're kicking a much softer part of their body too.
Yeah, skinnier part of the leg.
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt as bad, I'd imagine.
Well, I would imagine it probably gives out a lot quicker too, though. If you're being kicked in your fucking big horse-eating thigh or kicked in your little fucking baby calf, can you imagine if anybody was clever enough to actually land those on John Jones, that little baby thigh, or the little baby calves he's got?
And then you have Charles Byrd, his fight with Patello there. Very good fight.
Yep.
Enjoyed it. I'm not like on some hype train with Patello here, but I can see
good.
I can see how he can do some stuff.
Sure.
And Charles Byrd, I mean, what a disappointment.
Yep.
I mean, I really was like, okay, this guy's got to be something. And now this is a third straight. Now,
yeah.
Granted, it's against good competition, but this is a fight you got to be able to win. I think he probably gets cut at this point, and it's really unfortunate because that's not where I think we all saw it going.
Bro, it's a game of centimeters. That's why guys cheat, man, because I've seen so many guys come and go in the sport that had the fucking potential to potentially be champions, and they just, you know what I mean? There's a few guys in the sport that they always come up a cunt hair short. Like, they're very, very good, but for some reason, a couple things don't go. There's just so many ways to lose, man.
That's Tony Martin.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in the sport
that's
like
just,
that.
Man, he started off, we'll go through his record when we get up to that fight, but he's had a tough go in the UFC, man. And then he's had this resurgence, going up to 170. And I don't know. I scored the fight for Magny. So I wasn't all that surprised. Certainly the third round, there's no question.
Sure. Yep.
And then I think I had him. I don't remember, but I remember feeling at the end of the fight that he won.
Right.
So I wasn't surprised.
We'll get to that one. Though,
but it was really close. But game of centimeters, man.
Yeah.
And I think Martin in that fight proved he belongs. And
but it just didn't go his way, and that's how the game goes, man.
Cody Stamann, Brian Kelleher. We talked about this a little bit, but Cody Stamann got a win, very very big win, close fight, much closer than I think Stamann would have liked it to be. I've become less and less impressed with his skill set as we've gone along. I was all in on him when he first came in, and I'm starting to see the chinks in the armor, and I think he needs to fix it. But just super impressed. I like it. I like where he's at, and I think he's going back down to 135. I think is what he said in the post fight.
Makes sense. Yeah,
that he's not wanting to be at 145. Ian Heinisch got the win over Jerome Mershart. Shocker. There's nothing to talk about here.
No shocker
There's
there.
nothing to talk
a
about
good
here.
win for him.
We already talked about Caceres, Chase Hooper. We talked about Sean O'Malley, Eddie Wineland getting the big walk-off. We started to reference Neil Magny, Tony Martin.
Whoa, hold on a minute.
Yes, sir.
Just quickly.
Yep.
Are Alex Caceres and fucking
Sean O'Malley?
Takashi fucking O'Malley in the same? Are they both?
No. Sean O'Malley's at 135, which is even more impressive.
And then Caceres is 45?
Yeah.
Huh, okay. I was going to say, I kind of like that fight.
Right. Listen, if
I like Caceres and fucking O'Malley.
If
I think
O'Malley wants to go up or Caceres wants to go down, I'd be about that fight.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right.
Neil Magny, Tony Martin. Again, it was just a close fight.
Oh, this is what I want to say about this fight. I think Tony Martin won the first 2 rounds, and I think Neil Magny won big at the end. Neil Magny is probably my least favorite fighter on earth. For whatever reason, the prick just rubs me terribly wrong. But I thought Neil won the fight, and I'll tell you why. Because in the 3rd round, he was controlling the fucking fight, and I feel like if there was a round 4 or 5, Neil would have won. Now, this is not how the fights are actually scored, but in my fucking mind, this is how I score the fights. For me, I like to judge the fight overall. And quite frankly, for me, I always can figure in what happens if there's another round. If this fight kept going and they was in the street, would one guy definitely win? And if the case is like, if they had to come back out for round 4, homeboy's going to smash you, that weighs a lot for me. I realize that that's not how the actual judging is done, 3-point or 10-point must system, 3 rounds, blah, blah, blah. For me, I put a lot of weight into that. If at the end, if you had a good couple rounds, but the end of the fight, the dude's beating the fuck out of you, and like everybody in this building knows that if you guys had to come out for round 4, you're going to be out of there in a minute or two. I don't like letting you get the W in those fights.
Well, listen to and this is kind of what I'm saying about Tony Martin just being in the game of inches. Listen to his last 3 losses. It's going back to 2017. And before that, he hadn't lost since 2015, right? So going back to 2017, here are his 3 losses. A split decision against Olivier Aubin-Mercier.
Okay.
Split decision.
Right.
Very, 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 very tough fight. Okay. And that was at a different weight class. Goes up. Goes on a 4-fight win streak. Okay. Then he gets a majority decision, loses a majority decision to Damian Maia. Holy shit. Again, majority decision, split decision, last 2 losses. And then this loss, which was a full-on decision, but was contested. And people were like, I don't know, man. I thought he won the first 2 rounds.
Right.
So his last 3 losses are Neil Magny, Damian Maia, and Olivier Aubin-Mercier. 2 of those, one majority decision, one a split decision, and then this one that a lot of people thought he won the fight.
Yeah.
Those are his last 3 losses going back to 2017.
Right.
And then in that time period, he's winning fights. He has 3 decisions. He has the choke against Jake Matthews, and he knocks out Ryan LaFleur in spectacular fashion, if you remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then before the Olivier Aubin-Mercier loss, he had won 3 straight.
Right.
Tony Martin is someone that's just flown really under the radar for people.
Yep.
And hopefully people are starting to see, like, oh, shit, like, this guy's legit.
And let me say, I wouldn't have scored that fight for him, but if I was going by the unified rules, I do think he won that fight. I think he won the first 2 rounds 10-9, and I don't think that Neil Magny won the 3rd round 10-8. So I think it would have been a split, but I think he did win the fight. He should have won the fight.
I think I wasn't quite sure how to score one of the. I just can't remember how I was feeling, but I just remember getting to the end of that. Maybe I was doing kind of what you did, getting to the end of it and just going like, "Oh fuck, Neil Magny won that fight."
Yeah, and that's
even
very
though
much
like
the first 2 rounds, though. I think that Homeboy won. So.
We talked about Sterling Sandhagen. That was just a real quick fight. Sterling got the choke out. We talked about Garbrandt and Sunsao. Garbrandt getting the walk-off 1 second, 1/2 second left, knocks him out. Just incredible.
We basically lined up his next fight for him, too, as far as it goes.
Yeah, and I'm all on board for that. And
Right,
I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it's what should happen.
Right.
And then we get to Amanda Nunes, Felicia Spencer.
Wow.
What is there to say?
Yeah, really, honestly, what is there to say? I going into this fight, man, right before the fight started, I started kind of thinking, like, well, man, actually, she lost to Kat Zingano, rather. I felt like maybe Felicia Spencer had the right sort of body and game plan to be able to maybe wear Amanda down, get her tired, and maybe in the 4th or 5th round, take her down and pound her out, possibly. But I got to fucking hand it to Amanda Nunes, Jack. She was having no fucking part of it. She looked fucking good. I think that if Amanda fought Kat Zingano again, she'd beat the fuck out of her. I think that she addressed the stamina issues that she might have had in that fight. The only fucking problem for me at this point, and I tell you what, this could be a first for all of me, because I'm very much of the mind that there's always somebody coming. People are like, well, who's John Jones going to fight? Who's the heavyweight going to fight? There's always somebody coming. Everybody shut the fuck up. There's always a Chase Hooper or a Sean O'Malley in the pipeline. I'm going to tell you something right now. For fucking broads bigger than fucking flyweight, Amanda Nunes is making it real hard on you hoes out here. Who the fuck?
Well, then you have Shevchenko, who... who the fuck's going to beat her at 25?
But at least there we can, we can have Wei Li Zhang move up from 50. There's something. Who in the fuck does Amanda Nunes fight now? Literally, who is there for her to fight? There is fucking nobody, man. Felicia Spencer was the end of the line. For all me, I feel like the UFC needs to get the pocketbook out and find Cyborg. There is one fight on this planet that Amanda Nunes unless they can fucking sign Clarissa Shields or something, and even then, Amanda's probably just gets the takedown.
Yeah, she's got to beat the fuck out of her.
But who on earth, all bullshit aside, who would she fight at 35? So say she moves back down to fucking bantam. Who is there?
So there is no 45 division. We've already discussed
She's
that.
literally cleaned it out.
Yeah,
fucking literally.
Because it doesn't exist.
They even brought a couple broads up from 35 and called them 45ers, and she beat them. There is fucking Amanda Nunes has taken fucking cleaning out the division to a new level.
You remember I think it was on this podcast, we went through her entire career and figured out she's beaten every single champion at 25, 35, and 45.
Yeah. There's
not a single person who's been a champion at 25, 35, or 45 that she hasn't beat.
By strength of schedule, man, her record is about as impressive as it gets.
And in fact, the champion at 25, she's beat twice.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I don't know who she's going to fight next. She's really... You talk about being a victim of your own success. Boy, fucking Amanda Nunes... is the poster child for that. She's just so fucking good. Now there's fuck all for her. Literally fuck all. Don't get me wrong. There will be somebody will come up. But I almost feel like she needs to take a year off. She needs to let somebody come out and have a couple impressive wins. Because I'm telling you, man, I literally cannot think of one girl short of Cyborg. Look, I didn't really care too much about Felicia Spencer, but okay, fair enough. I went along for the ride, and I even bought into it. Maybe that Kat Zingano thing, maybe that's a little chink in her armor. Well, she beat the fuck out of Felicia Spencer last night, buddy.
And could have gone 5 more rounds.
It could have gone 5 more rounds. That doesn't even seem to be getting tired, for Christ's sake.
Whatever that issue is, she fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was going to be Ketlin Vieira, and then she's beating the fuck out of Ariane Aldana,
right,
and then gets knocked out. So it's like, well, okay.
There goes that.
Yeah, there goes that idea.
Right.
So, is it someone like Irene Aldana then? That doesn't get much.
Boy, we're getting into the fucking Jan Blachowicz territory, and even that, at least Jan's got some decent wins. But fuck, man. I suppose if she's got to defend against somebody, who the fuck else would? But that again, that's like one of those fights where, I don't know. If I'm Amanda Nunes, I don't even know if I want to take that fight because it's just not really enough for me to get up for, man. I guess you got to make a paycheck. You got to get paid. But if I'm Amanda, It's like at this point, I need fights that make me nervous. I'm going to fuck around and lose to one of these hoes because I can't take them seriously. Like, it's, you know, she can't be fighting fucking Aldana. Like, we need some better representation, man. Somebody's got to go on a little streak here or something. There's fucking nobody for her.
Well, let's get to the next card, because I'm guessing that's the direction that this is going.
Jesus Christ.
So let's just get to it. Jesus Christ, I'm trying to get to it.
I'll tell you what. If weak cards on paper end up being good in fucking real life, this goddamn card should be a fucking barn burner, boy, because holy shit, when you got Jessica High in the main event, you can fucking give that one back to
So
the
this
Indians.
is at 25. So it even still, I don't think it's anything to do with 35.
Anybody that does anything in this don't want no sort of smoke with Amanda Nunes at all. Maybe we could have a Shevchenko discussion or a Wei Li Zhang discussion, but Amanda, you can chill on that.
I have absolutely no idea what they're going to do with Amanda Nunes. I have no idea.
I'm with you, man.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have any foresight. I don't have an idea. I don't have anything I could even suggest.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if Kayla Harrison could possibly get down to 45 and I mean, literally, I'm fucking reaching for straws here. I mean, I'm even thinking outside of the organization. What women on earth could possibly, like I said, maybe if they pull a fast one and sign Clarissa Shields. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think she still takes a beating in an MMA fight, but I'd be here for it. At least it'd be something that, maybe her hands are really fast.
There's certainly nothing in the pipeline right now that's jumping out to me.
Oh, no, not at all.
And there's no women standing up going like, hey, I'm the one.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
I think now's the time. If you're a woman on the UFC roster fighting at 35 or aspirations of fighting at 45, now's the time to make your voice heard. Now's the time to step up and be like, hey, you know what? I know I'm down in the rankings here. I know I have this one weird loss, whatever it is. Put me in there, coach.
Oh, yeah.
Put me in there, coach. I know how to do it. I know how to solve the puzzle. I got it figured out. Put me in there. Start talking shit. Talk shit about Brazil. Talk shit about her coaches. Talk shit about Nina Ansaroff or whatever. Nunes now. Do something, man. Get yourself in a position, because now's the time. Nobody else is there. If I'm Irene Aldana, boy, she's not Brazilian. She ain't Brazilian.
Is she Mexican?
I think so. Fuck it. Start talking shit about Brazil. I mean, do something, man. Like, get out there and make your voice heard, because we need somebody.
You know what would be interesting? And I know it would never happen, but you know who would be fucking kind of interesting? Is old Ronda. Like, give her the Aldana fight. Maybe she fucks around, armbars her, and then fuck it, sign her up for another fucking slaughtering with the lamb.
God.
I mean, what else do we fucking got out there, man? Like, at least that would be something for us to low-key get excited about. I mean, and all bullshit aside, if Ronda could come back and get a W, even if it was against the shitbird, if Ronda could come back and get an armbar win, you imagine the online fucking melee that would ensue if she actually come back and got a real W with an armbar? It would be fucking chaos, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Amanda Nunes would still beat the dog piss out of her again, but like, again, I'm grasping at straws, dog. I don't have no idea what would possibly be in the pipeline for her. I forgot that she even fought fucking what was the hoe who we ostracized because she refused to fight Cyborg? GDR. Fucking,
she fought her.
I forgot she even fought her until they were talking about it on the broadcast. I'm like, God, fucking damn. She's fought fucking everybody.
If you have been a champion at 25, 35, or 45, Amanda Nunes has beaten you. I mean, there's literally nobody else.
That's fucking crazy, man. Talk about a fucking living goat, boy.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a conversation we might have to start having. Is Amanda Nunes the GOAT above John Jones? Fuck the male-female. I mean, we know male-female, but, like, is Amanda Nunes' record more impressive than John Jones at this point?
Comparatively, like, if you're comparing it to your level of competition and dominating who you're not level of competition in that what you have available to you.
Sure.
Right? And what John Jones had available to him to fight. I mean, what Amanda Nunes had available to her to fight, she has been more dominant in that she's beaten more people that...
Amanda Nunes moving up and knocking out Cyborg would be like John moving up and destroying Francis Ngannou. John's yet to do something like that. Just to keep it fair.
If he does it, then there we go.
Yeah, but if he doesn't, I think you could all. I mean, even though Amanda Nunes has got a loss, does she only got the one loss to Kat Zingano, or does she got more than one?
I don't know. I imagine.
I feel like she might even have two, possibly.
I think in the UFC that's her only loss.
Right. I think so too. But even with the one or two losses, hypothetically,
she has 4 losses.
Holy shit! Interesting. What are her? Okay, so I know she got the loss to.
She has one loss in the UFC, which is Kat Zingano. She has one loss in Invicta. which was Sarah D'Elio.
Okay.
She has
When was that?
2013.
Okay.
Then she has one loss in Strikeforce.
To who?
2011 against Alexis Davis.
Okay. Damn, that's weird. Alexis Davis
And then
was
she
trash.
lost her debut fight.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Okay, so you can definitely throw the fucking debut away. Her having a loss to Alexis Davis is fucking interesting. Alexis Davis got to the UFC and fucking bit the dust there. She never, what's her fucking...
She's lost her last 3 against Caitlin Chikagian, Jennifer Maya, and Vivian.
Suck my
Araujo.
cock. Suck my fucking cock. So you're telling me a broad that's got a W over Amanda Nunes also lost to fucking Chikagian?
But this is back in the day, though, man.
I don't give a shit if it was in 1984. That happened. What a fucking chaotic turn of events, boy, to think that she actually lost. You know what I mean? To be now considered possibly the greatest fighter we've ever seen do it? Fuck me. Apparently, it doesn't matter what happened early on in your fucking career. If you fucking line up enough wins at the end, Jesus Christ.
Dude,
I never looked that far into her career before.
This is what's crazy. So she absolutely dominates Felicia Spencer. If I remember correctly, she pretty much dominated GDR as well.
Oh, yeah. She ain't been in a close fight in a month of Sundays, from what I can remember.
Knocks out Holly Holm before that. Knocks out Chris Cyborg before that. Jesus. Obliterates Raquel Pennington before that. Before that was that split decision win against Shevchenko. And then before that, obliterates Ronda Rousey. Before that, obliterates Miesha Tate. Before that, decision over Valentina Shevchenko. So here's the thing, and my takeaway, and the reason why I'm talking about that. How fucking good is Shevchenko, too?
Yeah,
man?
no shit.
It's crazy.
No shit.
It's
very,
crazy.
Very good. Very, very good.
It's fucking crazy.
To even be that competitive with a fucking
And then before that, she fucks up Shayna Baszler.
Oh, Baszler.
Shayna Baszler. And then after that, she knocks out Sarah McMahon. After that.
And Sarah McMahon was a beast, too. Very, 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 very good wrestler. I think
Shevchenko's fucking good, man.
An Olympic wrestler, if I'm not mistaken.
Shevchenko's
Sarah
fucking
McMahon.
good. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Fucking incredible, though, man. But yeah, to put a bow on it, I don't know what the fuck they do with Amanda Nunes. Congratulations to her for being the absolute fucking GOAT of women fighters, for sure. And putting us in a bad spot.
I wish Amanda Nunes could legitimately cut to 25, just because how crazy that'd be to
just
for her
take
to be
that belt, too.
Have 3 belts.
Yeah, I know. She probably could, too. But
Just
she'd probably
solidify that shit.
Kill her fucking self
Yeah,
to
it's
get
not.
there.
It's not worth it.
She'd have to pull a fucking TJ Dillashaw and start taking the Mexican supplements.
Here it is. Next week's card, we're not even going to get into it. It's absolutely horrendous. I don't give a fuck about pretty much any part of the card.
I'll be watching it.
Absolutely. And we will talk about it next week.
And it'll probably be good, but yeah,
Just-
on paper it kind of
Just
sucks.
because. So, all right, man. A minute an hour, buddy.
Good to fucking be back, son.
Absolute blast. Time
There
flies.
it is.
Talk soon.
All right, boys.